everything in nature comes with its risks. We could be watching a very different version of that clip where things could have gone wrong for either party there.
Very, very, very wrong.
Yeah, because that clip looks painful to me, you know? It's like, I would be like, back, or I don't know.
So there are two ways to kill the prey. One is by grip. The other way, when the prey is too heavy, the eagle tries to bring the prey to the cliff and loosen the grip, and bam, bam, and it's dead.
And so you really kind of developed a specialization for these?
Yes,
yeah.
I think so.
Being a vet now, you don't do so much with the birds of prey actively, or only a little bit?
Not really, because my main business is dogs and cats. But I support falconers in Austria. I'm still in the topic, but not as much as I would like. So here in the first part, we see a trained eagle. And now there's a cut. And this was really on coincidence. That's a wild eagle, which hunts on a group of chamois. But in the first moment, you see that the eagle wanted to hunt the chamois kid. But then the adult chamois goes in between in the last moment. And so the eagle caught the adult chamois.
Wow.
And now they roll over, and the eagle doesn't loosen its grip.
Yeah.
And maybe for some people it looks gruesome and cruel and brutal, but it's a hunting flight.
It's a really impressive clip.
Yes.
And I like that you mentioned that it starts with the trained eagle for the sequence in the film.
Yeah.
But it was a total coincidence that this wild eagle...
The cameraman was there, and it's really rare footage.
It feels like a little bit of cinema magic that the person was there. The conditions were great. I think it makes for quite a dramatic sequence, and you can see why our audience really liked it and shared it a lot. So you mentioned this sort of behavior is a normal hunting flight?
Yes.
So you'd see this sort of behavior, including the rolling down the hill?
Maybe not not this, but the chamois is a normal prey. So there are two ways to kill the prey. One is by grip, that's instinct, to focus on the highest point of the prey, and that's the head.
Of course.
So one claw or the talons from one leg goes into the neck, and the other one goes onto the head.
Wow.
So, and the claws are 5 centimeters. And when it's possible to break the neck of the prey, or the prey is killed from the talons in the head. Wow. That's one way. The other way, when the prey is too heavy or too huge, the eagle tries to catch it. When there's a steep slope or a steep cliff, the eagle tries to bring the prey to the cliff and loosen the grip, and then the chamois falls and bam, bam, and it's dead. And then the eagle goes down.
So in one option, it's like an active killing. The other one is like letting gravity do the work.
Of course.
It's a smart way to hunt in the mountains.
Very smart, because eagles only can carry maybe 1/3 of their body weight.
Why is it that the eagle can't let go? Is there something about the way that their talons work that meant that it just refused to let go?
It's the anatomy. Because to loosen the grip, the bird must do it consciously. Stretch the leg a little bit, and then he can open the claws or the talons.
Right. And so that process has to be actively thought about. And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is me anthropomorphizing, but maybe it's a bit hard to think about that when you're rolling down a hill like this.
Exactly, maybe.
And is it just these eagles, or is it all sorts of birds of prey that have to make that conscious?
All birds of prey.
Okay, interesting.
All birds of prey.
Maybe this is a good time for me to try and illustrate this with a graph. You can show me how this works. All right, we've got some graphs here.
When you see a bird standing, you only see the part lower than the knees.
So this part?
Yeah, this part. And the tendon, you need a flexor tendon, which flex the talons. this tendon has its origin at the musculus flexor digitorum longus, it's called. Wow. It's on the backside of the tibia.
This part here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a huge, very strong muscle.
Right.
And from this muscle, the tendon goes over, here it's called the ankle. It's the hock joint, but birds don't have really an ankle.
Sure,
and then the flexor tendon goes down on the backside.
Right.
Because on the front side, you have the stretch tendon.
Yeah? Of course.
For stretching the talons and the toes. And then it goes down till the end of the fingers. Toes, not the fingers, excuse me. And usually people think that the ankle, so-called ankle, is the knee of the bird.
Yeah, I've heard this recently.
Because when the bird is standing in front of you, you think, oh, that's the knee. But the knee is
way up in the bird, like
in the bird, and you don't see the knee
because it's hidden by the plumage or something.
By the plumage, yeah.
And then I've got a secondary graph here as well.
So it's more in the detail. Now what we see here is the toe.
Okay, so this is the talon part itself here.
The talon part. Okay. In front there's the talon, and then we see the bones of the toe.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the red line is the tendon, the flexor tendon.
Okay.
And the blue line is the tendon sheath.
Okay, they've got like a cover, basically.
Yeah, like a cover. In mammals, also in human beings, there you have a little liquid,
like a lubricant in an engine.
Like a lubricant, yes, of course. And in birds of prey, you see the blue, the tendon sheath, have little knobs.
They've got teeth like a gear.
It's like a ratchet system.
Yeah.
So you have part and counterpart, and then the tendon sheath and the tendon goes cluck, 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 cluck.
Wow.
And the thing is, the bird don't need any muscle
effort
to hold the talons closed.
Oh, because it's just locked.
They are locked. It's like a locking mechanism.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how they sleep on a bench or on a tree. So they are totally relaxed, and the tendons are locked, and the talons are closed. Yeah, and the toes are closed.
And that doesn't give them any muscle strain or anything? Like to be locked for such a long time in like a strain? Wow.
No.
Oh, wow. Animals are so fascinating. This feels like the best biology lesson ever, you know? Like, I would have never thought that they're like a ratchet
system.
Yeah, that's so fascinating to me.